If Hall's upbringing was bucolic and tranquil, his personality was anything but. He was emotionally volatile, capable of both passionate, grandiose expressions of hope and excitement. You can read his diary for proof of this, and also outbursts of extreme anger and even violence. His ego was definitely a bit inflated, if not delusional. Despite this, he was intelligent and studious, even if his interests could be a bit fanatical. I kind of feel like this describes a lot of people of this time period, right?
Yeah.
Like they just didn't have the tools, Jad. They didn't have the emotional tools to communicate and vent their feelings in a healthy way.
No, I know.
So we're about to trek into the great North. The North is unforgiving. And for centuries, explorers like Sir Francis Drake had traveled north to chart the Arctic's geography. A lot of the time, these explorers were seeking the Northwest Passage, of course, which is the at the time a hypothetical route that connected the Atlantic to the Pacific over the north of Canada. But every expedition to find this Northwest Passage had failed up to this point. And the passage wasn't successfully discovered until much later in 1905. The exploits of these explorers fascinated Hall, and he became particularly fixated on Sir John Franklin's doomed Arctic expedition, which had occurred when Hall was in his mid-20s. I am curious what you think, Jad. What is it in human nature that we are so continuously kind of beguiled by these grand, bold adventurers and explorers? Like, what is that speaking to in us?
Yeah, I think about this all the time. I recall in early RadioLab, we talked to Robert Spolsky from who's a primatologist, and he told stories of watching baboon troops for months, years at a time. And he would notice this pattern where you'd have a very tight-knit troop, and that at some point that troop would be sort of in a neighboring area to another troop, and they're leaving each other alone. They don't want anything to do with each other. And it's always this juvenile male baboon who's just like, what's going on over there? And just kind of starts creeping out to the edge. Hey, what's up? What's happening over there? And then inevitably his old troop leaves, and then he joins a new one, and that becomes this, exchange. But it's always the young men. And you don't want to get too deterministic about this, but it does seem to me like a way that nature has written in a mechanism by which to expand the gene pool. And maybe in people like the fellow you're about to tell us about, that's just an instinct that got turned up too loud and it run amok or something. Mm-hmm. I don't mean in a sexual sense, but I mean in like that wanderlust, that desire to discover the world. It feels to me like it's something. It's kind of, in a way, one of the most beautiful parts of humans, but also sometimes one of the most toxic.
Yeah. No, you're right. It carries both.
It carries both, right?
The human instinct to explore contains multitudes.
Indeed.